Morning, 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 and welcome to my garage once again. This morning, it's not raining yet. The forecast isn't brilliant, but it's better than yesterday. Yesterday we had thunder and lightning. In fact, the house on the estate got hit by lightning, and the fire brigade and the ambulance were there. I don't know exactly how bad it was, but I just hope these people were all right. So anyway, like I say, forecast isn't brilliant, but at the minute it's not raining. So what I think we will do is go somewhere local and have a look at some local history. Enough of me rabbiting on. Let's go before it starts to rain. Come on, let's go. It wasn't until I'd wheeled the bike out of the garage that I realised I had no idea where I was going. So I looked up in the sky and I saw that the skies to the west were bluer than the skies to the east. So I headed west and decided that I would go to a village called Bredon. I'd ridden past Bredon and actually through the village quite a few times, but never spent much time in there exploring. I did know that there was a Tithe Barn there and an old medieval church with a spire. So hell, let's go and have a look at them. Welcome to the Church of St. Giles in Bredon. This is a 12th century church, Norman church. Unusual in as much that it's a Norman church, but it has a spire. Norman churches usually have the square towers. So like I say, early 13th century the original church was built, and then in the early 14th century there was an addition of what's called a chancel, so they extended the church in the early 14th century. It's really impressive, isn't it? It's an impressive building. Some impressive carved stone on the lintel and on the doorway. Unfortunately, the door's locked. I'm guessing in these days of COVID, most buildings are locked to keep control. Unfortunate, but there you go, understandable. Behind me here is the rectory, the building, the church building for the rectors of the church. Obviously, started being built in the 16th century, and there was additions in the 17th and through to the 18th century. A lot of history in a big old house. Lovely. Welcome to the Tithe Barn in Bredon. It's a mid-1300 built Tithe Barn, built of limestone and Cotswold stone, the Cotswold sandstone. That's the buttery yellow stone you can see. This one is, the walls are pretty original. The building itself burnt down in the 70s and was rebuilt in the 1980s. It's very pretty. Shall we go inside? We can actually get inside this one. So there we go. Unoccupied apart from some pigeons. Who pays their tithe in pigeons, for goodness sake? What an impressive structure. These big beams are made of oak timbers, and it actually just springs to mind that this gable end here does look rather like a church, even though these openings are for ventilation. Kind of look like a stained glass windows in a church, but they do to me anyway. Yeah, as I say, this mostly original. The roof was damaged during the fire. The fire was in 1979, and the rebuilding was in 1983. We looked at Tithe Barns earlier. I think it was episode 2. I'll check. I think it was episode 2. The tithes are a tax on the rural people from the church. The rural people paid these tithes directly to the church. This is the church that kind of took over after the collapse of the Roman Empire. So yeah, the tithes went on for hundreds and hundreds of years. The rural community had to pay a tithe. It was 10% of their earnings, because they didn't actually earn cash. Their earnings were paid in crops, paid in grain. So the church had these big barns built so they could store the tithes. Not only did they have to do 10% of their wages, they also had to work 1 day a week for free for the church. The church was massively powerful back in medieval times. Massively powerful. The first tithes were recorded in 604 AD, and by the 10th century they were compulsory. You kind of had to pay them. And when the church said you had to do something, then you had to do it. Otherwise you got excommunicated. And in medieval times, there was no doubt about it. The belief in heaven and hell was total. Was total. And if the church said, "Pay me your tithes, pay me your 10%, otherwise you ain't going to go to paradise," then yeah, these people, they just believed it and paid it up. Massive amount of power. Well, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was an unexpected window in the weather there. That was rather nice. I enjoyed that. So yeah, we had a little trip out to Bredon, which isn't that far away. It's pretty close to the M5. I thought it was in Gloucestershire. Looking at some descriptions, it might be in Worcestershire. But anyway, I'll check and I'll bottom that one out what county it's in. So yeah, I enjoyed that. We had a look at that lovely Norman church with a spire. And then we had a quick glance at the old rectory. Somebody's house again, trespassing up the drive, just to have a quick look. But impressive house. And then we had a look at that lovely Tithe Barn. Yeah, really nice. I enjoyed that a lot. And I hope you did too. If you did, can you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel? And until the next time, my friends, take care and bye-bye. Bye now.